Hello, good time zone. Don't mind my computer being on the table. I was just doing some things. And I'll move it off in a second. How are you doing, Lay? Working from home. Awesome. That is great. I am well. It was a bit of an interesting timing tonight because I was like umming and ahhing about streaming, and then I was like, I'll stream, and then my friend invited me to play Valorant, said I wanted to play Valorant. So I ended up playing Valorant for a bit, and then I was like, I still want to stream a little bit, so we'll see who comes up, who comes around to, yeah, watch and stuff. So, yeah, here we are. But I'm doing okay. Like, it's pretty good. Just a chill night, I think. I realized the music was too low. Hey, Nico. How are things since the move? It's been pretty good. I think it's it's taken me a bit more to get like I am like actively practicing still and like doing a lot of reading and doing obviously like I do rituals and stuff. Um but yeah, I think still getting used to the space a little bit, but it's generally been good. Like one of my big things with like moving somewhere is how the public transport is and like knowing how to navigate it. And like if I'm comfortable doing public transport, then I'm more comfortable in the area, which is good. So that's been a positive thing. I feel like a lot of people moved recently too. Like I know a couple of other people who, yeah, were moving around the same time as me, or like a bit later, which was a bit interesting that it was happening. I was wondering like if there's a astrological explanation for why everyone's moving at that time. Something in the air planets, yeah. Hello. I feel like it's a long time no see, Corvus Fixation. Long enough that I don't quite remember which name to refer to you by, and I apologize for that. I'm trying to troubleshoot this new platform I'm using, and it's like kind of easy, but also kind of hard. Where it's like the platform itself is intuitive in some senses, but then in other senses, it's like, oh, why did I have to click that thing? That is really weird. Aha, I discovered it. This is good. Also, the queue is open, so feel free to join the queue if you want a reading. It's usual readings today. I'll put my laptop away in a moment, and I'll get my hymn book out so we can read our hymn to Hermes to open the stream. It'll be a bit of a shorter one, maybe an hour. Okay, cool. I discovered the thing I need. Let's put this down. There we go. Hear me, Hermes, messenger of Zeus, son of Maia, almighty in heart, lord of the deceased, judge of contests. Gentle and clever Argifontes, you are the guide of the flying sandals, a man-loving prophet to mortals. Vigorous god, you delight in exercise and in deceit. Interpreter of all you are, and a profiteer who frees us of cares, who holds in his hands the blameless tool of peace. Lord of Kurekos, blessed, helpful, and skilled in words, you assist in work, and you are a friend of mortals in need. You wield the dreaded, the respected weapon of speech. Hear my prayer and grant a good end to a life of industry, gracious talk, and mindfulness. Hey Nat, welcome in. How is everyone else doing today? Whether it's just started or you're nearing the end of your day. Did you do anything interesting for Daepnon? If you celebrate Daepnon, or maybe for the new moon, if you follow the moon phases. 8 AM for you, so just starting. Cool. Well, I hope you have a great day then. Of course. Well, last time I was here, I was reading from this book, the Oracle Bones Divination book by Costas Divinus. So while I wait to see if anyone will be joining the queue, I'm going to read from this book again. So I think I ended up on the history of the Oracle Bones. Somewhere here. Oh no, I didn't. It was past that. I think we're up to casting the Oracle coins. In most cases, the Oracle will answer you directly without runaround or subtleties. In this light, the Straguli are very different from the I Ching, which is often more tactful and somewhat evasive. Perhaps this comes down to a simple difference in Western and Eastern mindsets. In any case, it is up to you whether or not you want to follow the Oracle's advice. It may be prudent to mention a cultural and historic characteristic of the text in order to avoid provoking confusion. Many of the stanzas refer to the gods of ancient Greece. Readers will notice that a specific verse will call upon a given classical deity, and this is natural, because the original text predates Christian times by centuries. Of course, this does not mean that the reader has to follow the oracle's advice verbatim. When a given verse refers you to a select deity, in essence it is advising you to request divine aid, and it is best that you do this in accord with your own personal religious persuasion. In the same light, readers who are familiar with ancient Greek will notice that the text uses terminology that has differentiated in the modern day from its original meaning. Hence, the word theos, God, simply means powerful one in ancient Greek, and refers to the divine, or to a tutelary spiritual entity such as a guardian angel. Similarly, the word daemon means wise one, not demon, and refers to the powerful one, corresponding to each individual divination. It would be a mistake to regard this terminology in a Judeo-Christian context. For those readers who would like to expand their understanding of the Greek gods mentioned in the divinations, refer to the next chapter, the Greek gods, which contains an alphabetical list of the gods and descriptions of their roles and abilities. Yeah, no worries. Take your time. I'm happy reading stuff. So then there's the Greek gods. For the ancient Greeks, the significance of the gods and supernatural beings in the divinations would have been self-explanatory. The Greeks cultivated a patronal. I've never seen the word patronal, like patron but with all of in. Patronal system of gods and spirits who served specific human needs, conditions, or desires, and to whom one would give praise or tribute for success in particular fields. Modern readers may have to take a more conscious approach to interpreting the divinations. As mentioned in the previous chapter, all divination should be acted upon, or not acted upon, according to one's personal religious beliefs. However, additional context can certainly aid understanding. The following alphabetical list provides a taste of that context. I wonder if this author kind of like writes from the perspective of people who legitimately would believe in the Greek gods. It's hard to tell. Oh, you were on a call too. Well, just a reminder to anyone, if you would like to queue for a reading, feel free. We'll be here for like another 45 minutes or so. Adrastea, she whom none can escape. Possibly an epithet of Rhea Cybele in her attributes as the mother, who punishes human injustice and upholds the natural order of the universe. The Greeks and Romans later identified Adrastea with Nemesis, the goddess of vengeance. The Orphics considered her an avatar of Ananke, while in the tragic play Rhesus, once thought to have been written by Euripides, she is portrayed as the daughter of Zeus. Adrastea was also known as the defender of the righteous. One version of the story has her nurturing the infant Zeus in secret in the Dictaean cave in Crete to protect him from his father Cronus. Adrastea and her sister Ida, the nymphs of Mount Ida, were the daughters of King Melesius. The sisters fed the infant milk from the goats Amalthea. As a reward for their service, Zeus placed the pair in the heavens as the constellations Ursa Major and Minor, in brackets the two bears, along with the goats Amalthea as Capra. According to Pausanias, on the mainland of Greece, a spring called Adrastea was located at the temple of Nemean Zeus. Her connection with Zeus survives to the modern era in that Adrastea is the name of the second by distance and smallest of the four inner moons of Jupiter. That's cool. So you could honor Adrastea as Rhea Cybele, as Nemesis, as Ananke. A lot of different roles. Alright, Seeker, welcome to the stream. What would you like for your reading today? We're doing deity and angel readings as per usual. Hello there. Long time no see, I think. Message from Hecate. Please feel free to remind me, Folklore, Fiber Arts, what name to refer to you by, as it's been a little bit, and I don't want to refer to you as the wrong name. Interesting cards. So, Seeker, for your initial Oracle cards, we first have the Path Journey. Then we have Brimo, the Angry One, Fury. And then we have Hecate's Deipnon, Sacrifice. So, what I picked up initially from the story of these cards is that it's sort of like saying, on your journey until the next Deipnon, here is an epithet for you to focus on, or research, or learn about, or become more closely acquainted with, which in this case is Brimo. And this is actually a really interesting epithet because of how it gives us more sources about Hecate, because in some literature, in some ancient literature, she was referred to as Brimo, and not necessarily with the name. You have for a month? Oh, so this is like the past, right? Specifically this epithet? Wow, that's awesome. Oh, okay. Maybe the next date on then. Well, the other part of the reading was something about combining. This is one of the most interesting, like, free cards I've gotten with a tarot, like a tarot pull from this deck, because we have both the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups, and then the Lovers. So it's like as if the King and Queen of Cups wasn't enough to indicate that it's a couple. We also have the Lovers, which is also like coupling, which is interesting because Hecate is not typically one to be coupled with anyone, but there are some instances where she is spoken about in relation with another deity. It it makes me think of multiple things. It makes me think of like coupling Brimo as an epithet with another epithet. It makes me think of Brimo and Mercury slash Hermes, which I believe is one source. It makes me think of Hecate Inalia and Poseidon. Some sort of like pairing happening. And then sometimes I'll. Oh, you've been slowly adding Hermes to your practice. Yeah, like, because sometimes I wouldn't always correlate a king and a queen pairing to a couple of some sort. But the fact that it's like cups and it's also the lovers, it's all very like emotional based. It definitely feels like there's some sort of like relationship that's significant here. kind of asked her, like, what does she want you to do with this? Because if these cards represent something that's already happened, so the description of you actually journeying with this epithet, and then now it's Stapnon. So it's like, you've been doing it for a month, so you've already reached Stapnon. And then we're talking about, yeah, this one's Stapnon. Which is why I was like, maybe ahead of time, like you're meant to be doing it, but then it's the past, so, you know, it may not necessarily be the future. But the clarification card I got was the Nine of Pentacles, which is basically just like enjoy your harvest and abundance around you, and just things being steady and growing, which this generally just feels like an indication that you're going in the right direction, like an approval of what you're doing, a encouragement for you to continue onwards, to not feel like you're stuck anywhere, because you're not really stuck necessarily. I'm unsure if that makes sense or is like useful to you, but it just feels like more affirming than anything. Like to say, to give you the go ahead to explore what you are, and I think the Hermes thing is worth following up on, because I think that's the most significant mythological consort or pairing with Remo specifically. Was there any specific question you had otherwise about this reading, or do you feel like it makes sense in a way, or it's something that you'll be able to reflect on moving forward? Bottom two cards I got was the Magician, which is a card I associate with Hermes, and then I shuffled it away now, but it was the Two of Wands. Two of Wands, so planning. Yeah, I think that will be a good direction. Well, best of luck with that. You're welcome. Thank you for popping in. Alright, next up, let me know what you're interested in for a reading. You're fine. It was literally just a second ago that it popped up. So, you're not late at all. Hermes, yes. Can you remind me if I know you by a different username, like on Discord or elsewhere? Just so I know who I'm reading for. Or maybe you're someone I met here. Just want to double check. Or if you don't want to share, that's all good too. Oh my god, I literally asked you this last time too, didn't I? Kuro, I know you. Dang. I think the Corvus throws me off because I'm like, who do I know who's related to Corvus? But I do remember you because you have, you usually have like a really nice looking profile. And you are associated with green, like your name is green for me on the screen. So I do associate you with green. Dang, I can't believe I asked that again. I need like a nickname system on Twitch so I can see who people are without asking them. Or like, without having to ask them again. Alright. Oh, that was quick. Knight of Cups. It feels like there's some sort of shift happening in your connection, in your relationship. It's a positive shift, so it's not a bad thing. From what I'm sensing, though, so we have this Five of Wands here next to this, so there's Knight of Cups, Five of Wands, Five of Cups. For the two fives, I think they, in this context, symbolize change and transition. If you think a bit about like numerology, 5 tends to represent changes. And the middle point is the middle of 10. And what I'm sensing from the last two cards here is not like, it's not something specifically about like your relationship or like, no, okay, let me correct that. It's not like these literally mean something like bad for your relationship. Instead, I'm thinking something may have happened, like a situation, and you're kind of wondering about moving past that. It's like you want to move past it now. You want to kind of just leave it behind you, so you can move forward with your connection, with your path together. And Hermes is here kind of tapping your shoulder saying, you know, if there's something that's holding you back or something that makes you feel unresolved about what happened, don't try to force it through. Like, don't force it to the other side. He's saying, like, I don't want you to leave yourself behind. You know, there's a reason why, you know, metaphorically, these cups existed. You know, even though they're tipped over, even though there's some on the other side, there's obviously something that's still holding you here. And let's work through that instead of trying to ignore it. One of your oracle cards is let two become one, which I think is pretty sweet as a card. It can mean a few different things. Like, maybe it's very significant for the situation he's talking about, where it's like let two become one. Maybe it's about even the both of you, letting the both of you become one unit, working on something together, working towards something together. It can be about, like, in a like humorous way, he says it's like making two problems, one problem instead, like, you know, not dealing with two problems. You've been got. Oh no. I'm not feeling this card. It came out, but I'm not feeling it. Because there's a couple cards in here that are like specifically around like divine feminine, divine masculine, which I don't particularly subscribe to as an ideology. I read about it sometimes, but it tends to be a bit too binary for me, and that felt too binary. Maybe that in itself is a message about trying not to be too binary with things, and like just because something may come with like a binary option, not in gender, but not only in gender, but just like binary options, doesn't mean you always have to follow them. This one is protects the wild and green. In this sense, I think the wild and green is more metaphorical than literal, where you are the wild and green. It's like your growth is wild and green. Wild and green is typically associated with something that's overgrowing, something that's flourishing, something that's been fed a lot, like, you know, plants that have been fed a lot or have really good soil. They just go out there and be wild. And Hermes is kind of like, you know, protects that wildness, protect the growth. Don't feel like you need to trim it back. You know, rather than like letting it get out of control, protect it. Like protecting is one way to manage it instead. And this last oracle card for you is let your emotions flow. I think that really relates to what he was saying about something that's been like something that's holding you back, something that's keeping you stuck. Your emotions are not a scary thing. They're not something to hide or hold back. Hermes is not, you know, he himself is saying like, I'm not scared of some tears, I'm not scared of emotion. Which he isn't discounting the tears, of course, it's just him being lighthearted. But he certainly wants to let you feel around him. You know, don't feel like you're holding him back. Don't feel like you're holding something else back between the two of you. He would rather you express yourself than keep it in. Also, you're right. That is funny. For the green relation there. But yeah, that is your chicken reading with Hermes. You're welcome. Best of luck with the matters at hand. Oh, also, forgot to acknowledge the message you sent. Lichen. Well, I'm glad, even though it was a wild ride, or maybe not wild ride, but maybe it was a ride, he said, that you figured it out. Oh, that's nice to hear. Reading with Hades on what he thinks you need to focus on. Yeah. So something that's a little funny with this card I just drew is the first one was knowledge, and then this instant quote I got in my head was knowledge is power. But I thought that was just me, because I was like, oh yeah, cliche quote. And then I got this card where it says unlocking power. So maybe it wasn't so cliche as I thought it was. Knowledge is power. I think what's also, all of these cards are like funny because in a good way, because we have Elspeth here, you know, this warrior lady, and then we have Elspeth, literally Elspeth in the underworld, which is I think hilarious for Hades. So we have Elspeth and Elspeth in the underworld, and then we have this warrior, a warrior. So in terms of what Hades wants you to focus on, when I first read the knowledge card, I was thinking it's not literally like telling you go read more, go find more knowledge. It's more like, you know, sometimes when you want to do something or you want to learn something, but then you get a bit intimidated to learn about the thing because it means you have to not know it. Like you have to kind of sit in that feeling of not knowing something before you get to know something. But then if you never try to know it, then you don't have to think about how you don't know about it. He sort of brought that up for you because of the way that Thassa here, the goddess, she blocks the ship, right? And so it makes me think, what is blocking your knowledge? What is blocking you from moving forward? It's not literally, or it's not just the fact that you haven't obtained the knowledge. It's more so that knowledge sometimes is a bit of a scary thing. And that it may take like a deeper journey. Like reading a book is reading a book, but then also reading a book can send you on a huge personal journey, just like the one that Elspeth has gone on here, where Elspeth has unlocked power. She became, you know, someone who was quite looked up to, and then here she is in the underworld, so venturing downwards, descending. You know, descent is a big theme for Hades and any of the chthonic gods. And the journey is just kind of like right in front of us in our face here. But what's important as well is that Elspeth's journey in the underworld is related to the line "Be the light." So it's not just about, you know, suffering in the darkness. It's not just about letting things come at you. It's about making your mark and wielding your power, your own power, as referenced here. Even in the times that feel foggy, feel like a drudge, like a sludge to walk through, even if it's like your metaphorical underworld, however that may appear, that can be interpreted in many different ways depending on your own journey. But Hades here is saying, you know, don't be afraid to be your own light, your own guidance, your own motivator. You can hold the torch up to your own pathway even. You may not know it, but in a way you hold your torch up for the person who you are in the future. And I think the warrior captures that here too, where it's like someone who, even if they may have a smaller form down here, has this bigger form here, larger than life form. It's like you're not just what you feel physically contained by, you go beyond that too. And you are a fighter, you're someone who doesn't give up. He uses the word stubborn, but not in a bad way. It's like stubborn like a bull, someone who doesn't move unless they command it, like for themselves. So yeah, I see this journey here that Hades is hinting, or maybe not hinting, very like just putting out towards you. Don't be afraid to learn and to know things. Don't be afraid to be curious. Allow that to provide you the standing, and then yeah, you'll be able to navigate the underworld with ease. I'm glad it makes sense. I thought that was a very interesting story, like in a good way. But yeah, that's your reading from Hades. You're welcome. Thank you for popping into the stream and requesting a reading. Now you're up, Lay. Aphrodite, you notice that you have a tendency to do a lot of things honoring her in conjunction with honoring Lucifer. Because of their Venetian aspects, you want to see if she has guidance or requests for things you can dedicate specifically to her. I understand what you mean. I get you. I feel called to do a dice oracle for you, and then I'll also pull some cards. Okay, so for your oracle, you got Nemesis. A 4, a 3, 2 6s, the 5th a 1. Concerning that which you intend, make haste. All will be yours afterwards. Those things that until now brought you sorrow will be directed to your advantage, says the god. Be at peace, there is no evil ahead for you. I think that's a nice oracle. It's like, do whatever you want to do, you can do it quickly, and that's all good. But then also, the things that you've been a bit concerned by, or whatever it may mean for you, or like sorrow, the feeling of sorrow, that will actually work to your favor, and that you don't need to worry too much because you've got a good path ahead of you. So that's a nice oracle for you. Alright, and then you wanted to see guidance or requests for things you can dedicate specifically to her. I think the deck I want to use is on my shelf, so let me go check. Like, open up for me, please. Did that break it? No. I haven't used this deck in a little while. Alright, Aphrodite, what can Lay dedicate specifically to you? So, the first card you got was Seize the Day, which is an interesting collage of cars, which I don't think she means. Oh, maybe she will. Maybe she does, but like, I don't know if she exactly means it's your car, but yeah, that's interesting. We have Out in the Cold. Dive right in. You know, there's butterflies on this card, and I kept seeing butterflies, you know, in my mind's eye. I don't know if that is significant to you in some way, but maybe she wanted me to tell you about that. And then also Loving Master. I think the Loving Master card is definitely the, you know, anything you give me is good as long as it comes from the heart. But also, there's a bit more to it than that with the rest of the cards. But she does mean that. She does mean that. With Seize the Day, this makes me think that she's trying to say that it's not so much about like, here's a list of things I'm prescribing you to get for me. It's like, I would rather you go out and enjoy your time when you are out, and maybe on the back of your mind you have like, it's not even like going out, it's even like at home, but I have this image of you going out, like you're going to like a market area or some sort of like shopping center or place with op shops and stuff, and she's not saying like, I want you to get me this specific item that's this color, that's this shape, and you're gonna find it here. It's sort of like, as you spend time with her during a day, you will feel inspired towards and about certain things, and then that's when you know that it's something to get for her and to dedicate to her specifically. Because at that point, it's not so much about like the Venus aspect or the domains or the, you know what I mean? Like the devotional profile is what I'm hearing. It's not so much about the devotional profile, but more about, here is something that meaningfully represents an experience that I have had with you that I did not have to like hunt down necessarily, even if I felt this pull towards it the entire time. And I think that correlates with the out in the cold thing, where it's like, you know, when you're out in the cold, you want specific things. You want a jacket, you want somewhere safe to be, you want shelter, you want a heater. And I think it's in that similar sense of like, you know, this experience might leave you out in the cold, but that's kind of chill. Like, I don't know if you can see it, there's this baby in the cold, and the baby is chilling, like just standing there with sunglasses on, not even cold. So it's like, it makes me think that Aphrodite wants you to be like that baby that's just chilling out there, you know? And there are these like markings all around the card that it's like a tally marking, and she's saying, you know, you don't have to count things or quantify things in exact art for me. I don't want you to like track things in a very specific way. And then we have dive right in here. So once again, butterflies might be important, and I'm just looking at this imagery, seeing what comes, like, what is inspired of it. It's so interesting with super resonant. Yeah. I think with the dive right in card as well, she says to take more risks. She feels like she doesn't want you to be methodical about it. She wants you to be inspired. She wants you to be intuitive and creative. Butterflies in the back pocket? Yeah, no worries. Also, a lot of like the thing at the start where it was like this image of you like obtaining an object, like a specific object, and I think it, like I was referencing that throughout the reading. I think it's less about her wanting you to only get like to dedicate like actual objects to her, and that's the only thing. But I think part of it is that it's like having a physical anchor, which you probably already have like separate things for them anyway. Like, not that you, like, I imagine you might have separate things anyway. But it's the symbolism of how like a physical reminder can help too. So that, you know, on the times that you want to honor them separately for certain things, you have like a physical thing either you hold or keep around you or you look at that reminds you. Oh, dimensional jewelry, cool. I'm really glad to hear that. Also, apologies, Dark Master Tarot, I didn't answer your question. I'm doing okay, but I'm a bit tired, so I'm going to be wrapping up the stream shortly. But I hope you are doing well. Yeah, like I did feel like there was a lot of like love coming from this, and it was very like much her wanting to say something that was more meaningful than a list of things. Which a list of things could be meaningful too, of course. But yeah, it's a different angle that she wanted to take. So you're welcome for the reading, and yeah, best of luck with your ideas that you come up with. And for now, it's time for me to head to sleep. Because tomorrow, hopefully, well, I plan to go to Nico's guided meditation. So for anyone else who is in Sanctuary of the Crossroads, in about 9.5 hours, Nico will be hosting a guided meditation with Hermes. So please do come along if you have a chance. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you folks for hanging out. Have a good rest of your day or night. And yeah, I'll catch you next time for more stream. Oh yay, first one with Hermes. Exciting. Good night.